Okay.
If you would be so kind as to check the stream real quick while I post and let everyone know that we're here.
As we'd say down here in the South, I reckon that'll be all right.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Dude, the memes with the guy at the Olympics, that with the pistol,
So great.
has been killing me. Dude, that one I sent y'all today made me laugh so hard. The Star Wars one. Oh my
Yeah.
god. I was
Uh,
like, I know who will love this.
all right, let me refresh. It's not letting me join.
Checkity check 1, 2, 3. We're streaming to YouTubes. Streaming to the
I mean,
YouTubes.
audio render error. Why does that mean you don't have to play video? Joey says we're all good,
Okay, good.
so I'll take his word for it.
All right. Well, I am good to go if you are.
I can't tell you how excited I am for this
Oh, me
specific
too.
show.
Oop, let me turn my ringer off.
Oh, good call.
Professional podcaster here. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Greetings, programs, and we're back for another episode of the Nerd Cave Retro Show. My name is Jason Robbins.
And my name is Derek Diamond.
So, how has your weekend been?
You know, every now and then you need to take a personal day.
Yep.
And that's what I did yesterday. Other than eating like lunch and dinner, I did two things. Well, no, three. I watched the season finale of House of the Dragon. And then I played Super Mario World, which we're going to be talking about here in a little while, and Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door.
Oh, nice.
That's all I did.
I pretty much
was
did the same
glorious.
thing. I just needed a weekend where I didn't have it do anything. So that's what I did.
Well, and I think, it goes to show you that every now and then you just need to take a chill day, because I had at work today, I had one of the most productive days I've had in weeks.
Mm-hmm. That's
Because,
how it is.
we're done with the movie. I'm pretty much wrapped up on all my freelance stuff. So I just was able to get work done.
Yeah,
So it was good.
I finished up Three Body Problem on Netflix. Have you seen that yet?
I have not, but I've heard good things about it.
It's very, very good. I think you'll enjoy it. It's it's hard science fiction. Like it's I'm trying to think of something I would compare it to. It's a lot like, what is that Apple show? There's an Apple show about the aliens invading. I think it's called Invasion on Apple. That one's really good, but it reminds me of that a lot. But it's all about an impending alien invasion. So go check that out as soon as you can.
Okay. Yeah, because now that House of the Dragon's done, I'll be looking for a new show to watch. So yeah, that'll actually be quite good.
Also,
I haven't watched a good sci-fi show in a while.
I had a $5 credit on Xbox Live, so I got myself Sid Meier's Civilization Revolution. I used to have it on Xbox 360. I love that game so much, and I
Civ
still
Rev.
love it. Oh, it's still. Why haven't they made another one of those? Is the question. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like regular Civilization, but there was something special about Civilization Revolution that was more arcadey than the regular Civilization games, and I wish they would just make another one.
I mean, maybe one day down the line, but I remember people talking about Civ Rev, like obnoxiously. They were talking about it so much. I've never played it personally. Just it's for the same reason that I've talked about before. I get addicted, so it'd be one that I probably wouldn't be able to put down.
But the good thing
So I
about
just stay away from it.
the games only last a couple of hours, so you can even save and come back. So I wouldn't worry too much about the addictive factor because it's not something you're going to play for like days and days on end without ending. It has a definitive end to each game, and they only last a couple hours. So it's a good game to kill a couple of hours when you're, on the weekend or whatever.
On another note, have you seen Deadpool and Wolverine yet?
Not yet. I plan on seeing it this week sometime.
Yeah, I finally got to see it this past Thursday. Somehow I was able to avoid spoilers. And I'll say this, it's one of the most fun movies I've seen in a long time.
That's what I hear. Everybody said it's really fun and it's worth going to see in the theater.
And this isn't a spoiler, that's just my opinion. I love Logan, but this was Hugh Jackman's best portrayal of Wolverine. Easily.
I mean, I'm trying to stay away from spoilers. I kind of caught a few online here and there, but I'm not one of those people that really, cares about spoilers. So I'm still going to see it,
Yeah.
It's not like I'm going to be like, oh, I'm spoiled now, I'm not going to go see it. So I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, and really at the end of the day, like I try really hard to avoid spoilers, like mostly with movies like these, because I want that element of surprise. It's like when Captain America wields Thor's hammer in Endgame. Like it wouldn't have had the same effect if I had known about it going in. So is it going to deter me from seeing it? No. But do I prefer to not know? Yes.
But I did watch the first Deadpool this weekend, just to kind of have a refresher course. And plus, Angelina had never seen it before, so we watched it this weekend. And I'm so ready to go see it. I want to go see it as soon as I can.
Yeah, you'll love it. There's some great surprises in there. Some that I wasn't expecting. But it's a really, really fun movie.
I think I might know what it is because I did get spoiled on like a big reveal, but that's okay.
Well, there's more than one.
Oh yeah.
So
I know there's one big one. So and I think I got spoiled on it, but that's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway,
you'll still enjoy it.
But we got some news to get to this evening. You ready to jump into it?
Sure.
Some of this week's news stories were sent to us by Carlos Longoria, a.k.a. I Am Scooter McGee, and Armez Jackson. But if you have a news story that you'd like us to cover, send them to nerdcaveretro@gmail.com. And the first story is from GameSpot.com. Indie game publisher Humble Games reportedly lays off all staff. The indie game publisher Humble Games laid off its entire staff, which consists of 36 people. However, the company says it's not shutting down, but is instead restructuring our operations. According to now former Humble Games senior quality assurance analyst, their entire team was let go. Another employee who was a producer also confirmed he was being laid off. The publisher previously underwent 2 rounds of layoffs, first in April of 2022 and then in November of 2023. They confirmed that Humble Bundle will have no impact on its operations. Additionally, ongoing and upcoming games from Humble Games will still move ahead and be published by the company. Now, how do you have a company if you fire everyone?
That was going to be my question. How do you have a company if you don't have employees?
How does it be like, well,
you're a sole proprietorship at that point.
All right, Derek, me and you are both fired, but Nerd Cave Retro will live on. Like, how does that work? It doesn't work.
AI, I guess.
Well, that's actually probably coming here in the next few years. This is just so weird to me. Like, why is there so many layoffs at game studios? And I know they're an indie game publisher. They probably, they're probably running pretty tight with their budget. But at the same time, I mean, you're going to lay off everybody. I mean, do they not have anything else in development? What's going on over there?
I mean, my question would be if you lay off your employees, like you might as well just close up shop.
Yeah, I
Honestly,
mean,
because it's like, what can you do? Is it just the owners or the owner? I don't know if it's one person that owns the company or if it might be like a group, but either way, it's like that. This is it's getting pretty bad
yeah.
in the game industry because I know that was it NetherRealm laid off their
hmm
mobile team. So, and I know it's not everybody, but still,
I'm just going to
that's a
go
good
ahead
chunk.
and say it, but because this has been a long time coming. The industry did it to themselves. They haven't been focusing on like, because I was thinking about it. You know, the last great era for video games was the 360 PS3 era. There were so many games that were out, and they weren't all AAA. You know, $1 billion to produce games. That's all they're doing now is these huge AAA games that cost $500 million to make, and then when they have to be, ongoing subscription based models so that they can continue to make money, and this whole, capitalist, like, we have to have exponential growth has ruined the game industry. It's already ruined the movie industry. Now it's coming for the game industry. Like, what happened to the like single and double A games? Whatever happened to like just having small teams that make these small games that don't need to cost $70 a piece? They can be cost 15, $20 to download off the Game Pass or something. Like, what? Why does it have to be these big $500 million budget games?
The word monopolization comes to mind. Like, I
Yep.
mean, it's you hit the nail on the head. You look at what's happened with movies. Like the new Twister is about to already be out on streaming,
Yeah.
and it released in theaters less than a month ago. So unless you have like your Deadpool and Wolverine or like a Top Gun Maverick or some kind of big budget movie, the theatrical run's not going to last very long because people aren't going.
Yeah. Well, maybe if they started making better movies. I mean, I'm just saying, if there was a good, $20 million comedy, or hell, even a $1 million comedy, or something like that, or something that we've never seen before. Don't get me wrong. I love Marvel movies. I love Star Wars movies. I love Ghostbusters movies. But where's the new stuff that we haven't seen before? Like in 1984, nobody had ever seen anything like Ghostbusters before. Nobody had ever seen anything like The Goonies before, or Back to the Future. Where are those movies now? Stuff we've never seen.
We could do a whole separate podcast.
We should just do that. We'll just take one episode and just talk about why we're just in this rut of entertainment.
No, I'd be all for that. Get a little roundtable discussion
Yep.
going. But at the end of the day, like it sucks, because you hate to see people, granted, like in this case, a whole company lose their job because things are, and this is some real world discussion. Things are bad
Yeah.
right now because of how expensive everything is. It's really like borderline unaffordable to really live anywhere,
Yeah.
or unless you live uncomfortably.
But then you'll have a
So it's
company like the guys that do No Man's Sky. I mean, that's like like a 15-person team, and they've literally just been working on that game, putting out new patches for it all the time. And it's not a subscription-based model. Look at what they're doing and figure out how to do that.
yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yep.
Which, speaking of unfortunate, our next story from MyNintendoNews.com, Game Informer closes its doors after 33 years. Respected U.S. video game publication Game Informer has announced they have closed for good, which will come to a blow to the talented journalists working there along with fans of the magazine and the insightful Game Informer website and podcast. Kotaku reports that staff were all brought into a meeting on Friday with parent company GameStop's VP of HR and told the publication was closing immediately and that they were all laid off. That's kind of messed up.
Yeah.
Here's the message Game Informer published on X. After 33 thrilling years of bringing you the latest news, reviews, and insights from the ever-evolving world of gaming, it is with a heavy heart that we announce the closure of Game Informer. From the early days of pixelated adventures to today's immersive virtual realms, we've been honored to share this incredible journey with you, our loyal readers. While our presses may stop, the passion for gaming that we've cultivated together will continue to live on. Thank you for being part of our epic quest, and may your own gaming adventures never end. We've talked about Nintendo Power, EGM, but I went through a phase, I believe in the early 2000s, where I read a lot of Game Informer
Oh yeah, me too.
because you'd get a subscription if you subscribe to GameStop's pro membership. But even that, like, they'd have copies of the magazine, and I would just remember I would sit there, or stand there as a teenager, and I would just read it, while I was in GameStop.
Hmm.
So this is just another piece of my childhood that's just it's gone.
This is another step towards GameStop shuttering its doors for good. I mean,
It's not if, it's when it's going to happen.
yeah. I mean, the GameStop is always busy here, even though we still have like 5 of them within a 3-mile radius. But at the same time, it's like I just, with everything going digital, like the internet has ruined everything. It just ruined the world.
Joey says, I loved all 3 of those magazines. I have a ton of Game Informer still from the past 8 to 10 years.
Yeah,
I
me
wish
too.
I had kept at least some of my old magazines, because I had a ton of Nintendo Powers and EGMs back in the day.
Yeah, I had a bunch of them too, but they got destroyed in Hurricane Katrina. But I still have a bunch of Game Informers. I'm never gonna get rid of those.
Yeah. He says 2 GameStops in his area closed in the past 3 years. We have, I'm trying to think. I think we have 2 near me, because we did have 3, but one closed down a while back. I know there's one in the mall down the road from my house, and then there's like a plaza near where I live with like a Walmart and a couple of other places, and it has a GameStop.
Yeah, there's one here that's right down the road from me that I go to sometimes. But they're both, the 2 that I go to are in really good locations. One's right next. The one down the street from me is right next to Walmart, so it gets a lot of that traffic. And then the other one is literally right next door to a Target, so it gets a lot of foot traffic right where it's at.
That's smart.
So
That's very smart.
those will probably be the last 2 left in the country.
You'll have the last Blockbuster. Now you
Yep.
got the last GameStop.
Yep. Next story is from our favorite site, NintendoLife.com. This is actually just a little update to one of the stories we did last week about the new games coming to the Switch in August. And this is a list of the 16 that's coming. Let's see. We have Thank Goodness You're Here, which is out now. Operation Tango, Tomba Special Edition, World of Goo, we talked about last week. Natsumon, 20th Century Summer Kid. Volgar the Viking 2. I might have to download that and review that one too. Cat Quest 3. SteamWorld Heist 2. God, I love the SteamWorld games. I just started playing SteamWorld Dig 1 again over this past weekend too. I forgot about
Nice.
that. Vivid Lope, Arco, Squiggle Drop, Castaway, Mika and the Witch's Mountain, Tales from Toyotoki, Arrival of the Witch, Shadow of the Ninja Reborn. Definitely going to have to get that one. Remember we talked about that not too long ago. And the last one, Emio, the Smiling Man, Famicom Detective Club. I just like the name of that one.
That was the one that Nintendo kind of put out the random teaser and asked, like, who is Emio? And I remember being confused by it, because I'm like, what is this? And it looks pretty interesting, but no, this is it's a pretty good list. The just from the name 20th Century Summer Kid,
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by that, because that sounds like that could be like my life story.
Yeah.
But no, this is it's a nice update. Very rarely do we get like a follow up to a story immediately, so this is pretty cool.
Joey says he has Volgar on Dreamcast. Yeah, they got a sequel coming.
Hmm, nice. Yeah, he said World of Goo sounds like a Boogerman sequel. The
No,
spiritual successor to
it's
Boogerman.
it's a really cool puzzle game where you take blobs of like almost like a oil like substance and you make structures with it to solve the puzzles. It's really addicting, so I don't know if you're going to want to play that one, Derek.
I think I might stay away from
It's
that one.
one that I had a long time ago on one of my Windows computers and played the original World of Goo, and it sucked me in for like 2 solid weeks. That's all I could play was that game.
I mean, to tell you how addicted I can get to games, like that's all I did yesterday. Like I was saying at the beginning of the show, I was alternating between one Mario game and another Mario game.
Yeah.
And guess what? After this show, I'm going to be doing it with another Mario game because I'm reviewing a Mario game next week.
Oh, I am in a Mario mood right now. I might actually go get the paper door here soon. Not the paper door.
Okay.
Paper Mario, Thousand Year
The Thousand
Door.
Year Door.
God, my brain just. Did you just hear my brain short out?
No, it's back to normal now, so we're good. And our last story, also from NintendoLife.com, Super Smash Bros. N64 storyboard artwork discovered. The original storyboard documents for Super Smash Bros. Have been discovered online. David V. Kimball, a marketing director and content creator who has previously made videos about Smash Brothers Melee, stumbled across the design documents by using the Wayback Machine on HAL Laboratories' website. Sharing the panels on Twitter, Kimball came across these while researching for his next video, so it wasn't like he was just browsing the HAL website in search of this artwork. The storyboard showcases the opening movie of the N64 platform fighter, which to anyone who's played the original game is pretty darn iconic. There are instantly recognizable panels, such as Mario sitting on the desk to all the fighters jumping onto the screen at once. This is really,
Yeah.
really cool.
I love stuff like this.
Oh, yeah. And like you look at the storyboards and like if you grew up with that game or you spent any extended time playing it, you can hear the panels. And this is so cool. I got yeah, are the other Smash Brothers games better? Yeah, but I got such a soft spot for that original N64 game because that was like a dream game come to life. Like you play Mario, you play all these different Nintendo platformers or properties, and everybody asks themselves, what would happen if they all met? Well, they fight each other, and you
I,
got this.
I still love going back and watching that commercial from back in the day.
Oh, it's in my top 5 best video game commercials of all time.
So happy together, and there's all beating the crap out of one another.
When Mario hits the big elbow on, I think, Yoshi.
Whoever came up with that commercial, I hope they got a huge raise after that. Because that's still to this day one of the most memorable and iconic video game ads of all time.
Yeah. I don't know if we could do like a top 5 episode of video game ads, but it'd be fun to come up with a list.
Dude, I tell you what, we should do that. That should be our top 5 for next month. Top 5 video game ads, because I know, like, I know 5 right off the top of my head that I would put in that list.
Yeah, this would be on my list. The Crash Bandicoot ads from back in the day were pretty good.
Dude, the Mortal Kombat commercial where the people are in the street yelling Mortal Kombat. Like,
yep.
I'm such a 90s kid. Like, that kind of stuff just stuck with me.
Did you ever see the Link to the Past Japanese ad?
I probably have, but
I'll have to look it up and I'll put it in our group chat.
Okay.
It's a bunch of people dressed up as the different characters in the game, and they're dancing to a pop song.
That's cool.
It like makes little to no sense, but I dig it.
Have you seen do you remember the Super Nintendo ad that had a very young Paul Rudd, but literally like Paul Rudd. He has not aged in 30 something years.
Yeah, no, I remember that quite well.
Like you look at that ad and you're like, does this dude just if there are rumors of Hollywood people drinking baby's blood, Paul Rudd is one of those people. Like he literally has not aged.
Paul Rudd's the supplier,
Yeah.
if that's the case.
They're all drinking his blood because he's a
Yeah,
vampire.
exactly. No, I remember, I think it was this past Halloween, they had like a Halloween movie marathon, and he was in one of them, and I'm like, he looks the
Yeah.
exact same
I
now.
think it was
Like it's
Halloween. Joey would know this. It was a Halloween 5 he was in.
that sounds right.
I
I
think it
want to say it was
was.
5.
I mean, he was like what 19 at the time, and still looks exactly the same. Like it's just, I don't understand.
Uh, that's awesome. But yeah, this is really cool. The whole storyboard thing. Like I love when we learn about stuff like this, and
Yeah, it
even
was.
the
It was 5. Yeah.
okay. Because even the graphic at the top of the article, it has the exact same art style as what was on the box.
hmm
So this is so cool.
But
I love this.
but that brings us to the end of the news. And actually, I'm kind of excited to get to the Super Mario World talk, and we're already running a little bit late. So we're. How do you feel about saving video game history to next week?
Yeah, let's do that.
Well, before we go into the review, we got to do those Patreon shout outs because we got to shout them out.
If we must. No, I'm kidding.
We have to.
Yep. As always, we want to shout out our awesome patrons over at patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. We want to shout out the following: Brian Piotrowski, and I still say that's one of the greatest baseball player names I've ever heard. Nick W., Eld the Zombie, Yup Fed, aka Knife, James, aka at Jimbo Jr. on our Discord, Raven, Danny House, Justin Nispel, John West, Daniel Salmon, Mr. B. Res Coffee himself, Mike Eveland, Tyler Watson, Axeblade07, Armez Jackson, Carlos Longoria, aka I am Scooter McGee.
Scooter McGee.
I feel like with the Rampage, it sounds better, more drawn out, but with Scooter McGee, it's just like you're doing that classic frat boy McGee.
McGee.
Staff Sergeant Sketch, Gus and Penny, Matthew Salmon, Mr. Joey Image, and of course,
Mama Diamond.
Donna Diamond. Thank you all so much for your continued contributions and keeping the lights on for us here at the Nerd Cave Retro Podcast. For as little as $1 a month, you can call me a broken record, but I don't care. I'm going to keep saying it. For as little as $1 a month, you get early access to our bonus episodes. And if you haven't checked out the Thunder in Paradise commentary tracks, then you're missing out on some grade A content.
Dude, I went back and listened to it this last week and could not stop laughing at the stuff that was going on in that episode. So if you just go, and part 2 is up now for the patrons behind the paywall. Just go. It's a perfect time to be a patron. It's the beginning of the month. I just dropped the commentary track. Plus, we've got a special commentary track coming this month for a weird movie that I saw when I was a kid, and Joey found it for us. So we're going to do that this month. So it's perfect. Right now is the perfect time.
But not just that, you also get your own custom-made RSS feed. And if you're a podcast nut like we both are, that's like a Christmas or a birthday gift.
Yeah.
Like I'm an Open Micers patron, and when I open the feed, it says Open Micers Patreon RSS feed for Derek Diamond. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool to me. So for as little as $1 a month, you get your own RSS feed with no ads. You just get our uninterrupted conversation. And I know ads pay the bills, but having an ad-free avenue is nice too. So
Dude, let me tell y'all out there, if you don't think you can find $1 to throw our way, dude, this weekend we cleaned under the couch. Like I flipped the couch over and we cleaned underneath it. We found like $8 and change. That would be 8 months of being a patron just in your couch. I bet you have $8 and change in your couch right now if you go check.
Did you like physically flip the entire couch?
Yes, and
Oh
the
wow.
cat was loving it too because she was acting like she was on a mountain up there on the back of the couch, so she was loving it. We were actually getting stuff clean because we haven't cleaned under that couch since we moved it in, and boy, it was something under there,
Probably a layer or two or dust in there.
just a little
I,
bit.
I know ours would be bad.
Oh, and like 85 cat toys too. Like she was just having the best day of her life when we got all those little fuzzy balls that you get for the cat, and they always come up missing. So they were all under the couch, all of them, like 15 of them.
She was probably like, "Is it my birthday?"
Yeah, because now they're gone again, so they're probably back under the couch.
Probably. But yeah, if you want to be a part of our awesome Patreon community, just head over to patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. And for new patrons, send us your social media info, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, so we can give you a proper shout out.
And tonight we're gonna be talking about. Yeah, I know the volume's a little low on it. I don't know why. But that's okay.
It doesn't make it any less enjoyable.
Still instant nostalgia hearing that music.
Oh, man. So last week we talked about Super Mario Brothers 3. And this week we're going to be talking about what I think is widely considered, if not the best Super Mario game. It's number 2 behind Super Mario Brothers 3. Super Mario World, which is known in Japan as Super Mario World Super Mario Brothers 4, it's a 1990 platform game developed by Nintendo and published by Nintendo for the Super Nintendo. The player controls Mario on his quest to save Princess Peach and Dinosaur Land from the series antagonists Bowser and the Koopa Kids. The gameplay is similar to that of earlier Mario games. Players control Mario through a series of levels where the goal is to reach a goalpost. You know how Mario games work. Chances are, if you're listening to this podcast, you know how Mario games work. So I have talked about this game quite a bit on the podcast, but of course we haven't done a full review of it. I remember playing the original Mario Brothers and Mario 2 for the NES. 3 I didn't start playing until later. I wasn't introduced to that until Mario All-Stars. But the Super Nintendo came out in the States August 23rd of 1991. My birthday is August 18th. So I got this as a late birthday gift. And of course it came with Super Mario World. And out of all the games that I have played, and I'm 100% saying this in confidence, of the 2 games that I have put the most time into, one is Link to the Past and the other is Super Mario World. That the opening theme song and you see the actual gameplay, it sucks you in if you're a Mario fan and you're a platforming fan, because you get to see how like bright and colorful the Super Nintendo games can be. And yet, like Mario Brothers 3 still looks great for an NES game, but this is, pun intended, a whole different world. You get introduced to a new environment while still having that Mario sauce, if you will. You know, like Mario 3 introduced the raccoon cap. This introduces the cape. The raccoon tail is probably more iconic, but I love the cape. I love the sound it makes whenever you spin and hit hit the enemies. I love using it as a parachute to fly, even though I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it at all as a kid. Like I could never figure it out. Now as an adult, I can do it. But like I still remember opening the Super Nintendo and playing this game for the first time. Like I can still remember sitting in my old room at my old house that I grew up in, playing this, in my room, in the living room. And this is one of those games that has stuck with me for, however long it's been out.
I still remember getting the Super Nintendo for Christmas, in 19, was it 90 that when did the Super Nintendo drop? Was it
August 23rd, 1991.
Yeah, so that Christmas we got this. I got the Super Nintendo, and I still remember hooking it up. And this was the first game we played for it. And just soon as you hit that button, you hear the pa-ting, and then you hear the music come on. We played this game Me and my brother played this game nonstop from beginning, and we finished it. We beat the game in like 2 or 3 days, just playing it nonstop. And that's not the first time I beat the game. I've beaten it so many times since then, even just up until a couple of years ago, played through the game. I think it was about 2016 or 17 was the last time I played it all the way through. And it never gets old. There's just something about this game that you can infinitely play for the rest of your life.
Well, I think part of it is there's so much in this game. Like it may not seem like there's a lot on the surface, but in the kind of like in Mario 3, the different areas that you can go to, because you have like an overworld map like you do in Mario 3. Like you start on Yoshi's Island and then you go to all these different places that are either named after food or
Yeah.
some kind of like you have Donut Land,
Yeah.
you have like the Vanilla Caves, the Cheese Bridge, which I loved. I still love, just because I love, no pun intended, cheesy humor like that. But it's everything from. There's a lot in this game that I feel like hasn't been used since, and I know we'll probably get to Yoshi here in a second. But if you look at some of the enemies, like the dinosaurs, because you're in dinosaur land, because the story is that they're all on vacation in dinosaur land, but Peach gets kidnapped anyway, and then you have to fight the Koopa kids before you get to Bowser. But there's different enemies, like the Goombas look different. They look like tomatoes with evil faces. You've got different dinosaurs that you fight. You have the Resnars in the like the mini boss castles. That, remember, they're on the spinning wheel and you have to hit the bottom
Yeah.
to knock them off. That's kind of what makes this game so unique, is that it's a different setting, but it still captures that Mario spirit, and it really makes this game stand out to me.
One of the things I noticed about playing it with a critical eye over the weekend is it's been a while. It's been a couple of years since I fired this game up. But this game humbles you really quickly because you start playing it and the first couple of stages are relatively easy. But then you start to get, at least I do, I start to get a little overconfident with my speed and my jumps because I'm so used to trying to just speed through these games because I've played them, for so long. But this game, the enemy placements are so precise of where you would think you would want to make jumps from or to, that once you start getting overconfident, this game's going to slap you right in the face.
That happened to me, actually. I was playing it a little bit this evening before we started the show, and I made it to the Forest of Illusion, which is the fifth section of the overworld map. And in the first level you go in, there are these small platforms. There's like a small series of platforms. They each have a tree growing up through the middle, so your view is kind of obscured. And I didn't have any power-ups. So, I'm going along, and then I land on one of the platforms, and all of a sudden, a simple Koopa Troopa comes out of nowhere and hits me right on the edge of the platform, and I die. So it's things like that. We talk about it on the show with games of this era. It's important to kind of memorize where the enemies are going to be, especially with a platformer, because everything is about where you land and then where you go next. You're always having to think a move ahead.
Well, that plus this game is very generous with the one-ups that it gives you too. and that's what I like about this game is you can die a million times in this game but still be okay. Like I was starting to get overconfident in one of the haunted houses, and I kept trying to like run through it, but I kept getting hit by the same Koopas over and over again, and I'm like, what am I doing? I just wasted like 9 lives in a row trying to just be Speedy Gonzalez instead of just taking my time to get through this thing.
For me, it's the one, where you're in the final room and those giant green balls are floating around
Yeah.
and you have to try and jump over them. Well, you have the spin jump where you can bounce off of them.
Mm-hmm.
I bounced off of one and then landed in a pit and died.
That's what
I'm
makes
like,
this
man,
game so fun. It is frustrating, but it's the kind of funny frustrating. Like you're just like, how did that happen? Like you make one stupid mistake and you die, and you just gotta laugh it off and go and start again. You know?
yeah, and some of the things that make me laugh, even as an adult, is I remember there's a couple of stages where you have to jump on these dolphins to get
Hmm.
through the water, and they're all like wearing
Yeah.
goggles, which I thought was kind of funny. Like the enemies are really wacky looking, and something that is a cool bonus feature. And I was never able to accomplish this as a kid, but there's a hidden world called the Star World,
Hmm.
and once you complete it, you can go to the special zone where it's like pretty frustratingly hard to
Yeah.
get through the levels. And what's cool is one of them is actually the one that Mario is in during the opening titles of the game. And yeah, some of those are just but once you get through it, it changes the map from like spring to fall, and all the characters look a little different. So like the Koopa Troopas will be wearing like pumpkin heads, or they'll be wearing some kind of mask. Or no, it's the piranha plants turn into pumpkins.
Hmm.
And the I think the Koopas are wearing like these round masks with the Mario mustache on them.
Yeah.
So just little things like that, because then you can play through the game again with the fall setting and you can see what's different.
See, that would be cool if Nintendo would do stuff like that, like re-release this game, but just make it like the Halloween edition, and just make it fall, and like all the characters are pumpkins and things like that.
Yeah. No, I think that'd be great.
Have Bowser riding in a giant jack-o'-lantern at the end of the game instead of
The
the
clown car,
clown. Yeah, the clown car.
which this is the game that the clown car was introduced, and now it's a staple of
Yeah.
Bowser.
And I remember the first time beating this game, and the mode 7 when the clown car like comes towards the screen was just, whoa, what just
Yeah,
happened?
yeah. You're just like, whoa, and you just kind of lean back like, oh, is he about to fly out of the screen at me? And what I like about, we talk about Mario Brothers 3 because I don't think you can help but compare these two, because
Mhm.
you're even though like I know you're more of a fan of Mario 3 and I'm more a fan of this game, we both admit that they're both extremely good.
Well, they
Like
came
to me,
out.
they're one and two,
Yeah, I mean, they came out so close together. I mean, you think back
which is
then,
crazy to think about.
when you're a kid, like there's like what, a year and a half between releases, and when you're a kid, that's an eternity. But like, dude, a year and a half now goes by in like a blink of an eye. That's nothing. But you're right. I mean, I do love Super Mario Brothers 3, but at the same time, like I've said before, it just depends on the day. I mean, there's some days I like this game better. Some days I like Super Mario Brothers 3. Just these games were so important to my who I am as a gamer. Like these two games in particular, along with Link to the Past, like those three games right there, it's just set the tone for me on what I like about video games moving
Hmm.
from then on.
Absolutely. And it's crazy that this game was a launch title for this console because you could really make the argument that it is the best game for the entire console.
And it's packaged with the console. I mean,
Yeah.
do you
Yeah.
remember? You remember the days when you could go buy a console and it came with a game? Like, oh, we didn't know what we had back then.
Yeah, not a chance that would happen today.
And I was like, I bought an Xbox, Xbox Series X. I can't afford a game, so I'll just have to wait till next payday.
And then when you can't afford a game, you have to wait like a day and a half for a day one update.
Yeah, back then it was like they released the game, and if it was broken, it was broken.
Yeah, you had to go get another one.
But this game, not broken at all. Nothing
Oh
about
no,
this game is broken.
no. So I think now we gotta talk about Yoshi.
Yeah, Joey said, now we're lucky they come with a controller.
I know, right?
And Raven in the chat room said, love the names of the secret levels. Yeah, I love how this game is just loaded with secret levels.
Yeah, you have the names like groovy, like tubular, like those kind of like surfer terms
Yeah.
was really cool. So I remember seeing the cover of this game, and of course, it takes the Mario 3 template. It's got a simple background. It's blue instead of yellow, and it has Mario with his cape riding a giant green dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
And Yoshi was not introduced until then, so you look at it and you're like, who the heck is that? It's like when Donatello says it in the Ninja Turtles movie, who the heck is that? But yeah, as soon as you get Yoshi and you see the element that he adds, it's just another one of those things like you take what you think is a perfect formula and you add a whole different dynamic to it. Everything from like, whenever you're riding Yoshi, the music changes a little bit. It's got a little bit of like the like a drum kind of beat in the
Mm-hmm.
background, which still carries to, the modern games too. From, eating the different shells, and each one gives Yoshi a different ability.
Yeah.
When you eat, I remember eating a blue shell for the first time, and Yoshi sprouts wings, and I'm like, I can fly.
Yeah. And I still feel bad whenever there's like those certain jumps you got to make and you have to sacrifice Yoshi. I'm like, I still feel so horrible.
There's a funny Flash animation that should date me by saying that because
Yeah.
you could tell it was made by like Flash Animation from like 2005. Of the specific level you're talking about, the cheese bridge, where there's a hidden goalpost, but you have to go under the normal one and then jump off of Yoshi because you can't go above it because it'll end the stage. In the animation, Mario's doing a flip off of Yoshi, and then he looks at him and then he just gives him the double finger. I'm like, I can't do that. Like I'm like I'm with you. I feel bad anytime like I lose Yoshi and he goes in a pit. I'm like, darn,
And
that
speaking of
sucks.
music, that I think this game has the most iconic Mario music of any game, going all the way back to just regular Mario Brothers, all the way to today. This game has the most distinct and memorable music. My favorite piece of the whole game is the ragtime piano, like kind of on the water levels. The
Hmm.
that tune. That's the Mario tune to me.
Hmm. It's such a wide range too. Like you've got your overworld theme. The dun 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 dun.
Hmm.
Like it's so like upbeat and catchy, and then you've got the kind of calm track for the water levels. And even the castle themes. The
Hmm.
castle theme's probably my favorite. That dun 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 dun. It was used in the end credits for the Mario movie,
Yeah.
and that made me so happy that they, out of all the pieces from Mario World's music, they chose that one. That's a pretty bold statement. I don't disagree with you, but that's a pretty bold statement to say because there's been a lot of great tracks in
Yeah,
Mario.
I know, but just something about the soundtrack to this game is what sticks with me the most.
Yeah. And same with me, just because I've played this game so much that it's all like embedded into my brain. I
And
couldn't tell you what I had for lunch 4 days ago,
yeah,
but I can tell you how to get through this game from start to finish.
and the music for like the haunted houses, where it's just like the um,
Dun, dun,
dun
dun.
dun 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 dun
Yeah,
dun. Like that, I don't know what it is. Just that music is just iconic video game music.
I remember in I think it's the first haunted house you go to. Or it might have been it was one of the first, if not the first. There's a hidden exit where you have to fight a giant boo.
Hmm.
And I remember thinking, like, I didn't think you could kill these
Yeah,
things. And then you have to get those glowing blocks and throw them up at him, all
yeah.
while trying to avoid several small boos that are swooping down at you.
Hmm. Yeah, that was it's been a while since I've been there, but I still like just as soon as you said that, I was just like the glowing blocks that you got to throw up in the air and hit them, and I got anxiety just from you reminding me of it.
Another thing too, the Koopa kids were introduced in Mario 3, but with this game, they make each of the battles a little different.
Hmm.
Like with in Mario 3, it's just you have to stomp on them 3 times and you get the wands that they have. But with I think it's the first Koopa kid you fight, you're on this like balancing platform in the middle of lava and you have to knock
Yeah.
him off. There's one where I think it's Lemmy Koopa, where it's him and two doppelgangers that are popping out of pipes, so you have to hit the right one.
Yep.
So it makes the strategy, a little different. And I think that's a great example of taking something that's great and just making it a little bit better.
And this game just with how perfect it looks, like just the pixel graphics of this game, the music, the way it plays. This game could be released today and still be great.
Mm-hmm. 100%. I gotta ask you this: did you ever watch the Super Mario World cartoon?
Oh, of course. The theme song lives in my head for the last
Super
30 years.
Mario, Super Mario, Super
A
Mario
Super
World.
Mario World, it's a blast from the past. Like I'll never
Ah,
forget that.
yeah,
I used to set my alarm on Saturday mornings just to make sure I did not miss that cartoon.
yeah, and this game has been the cartoon is great. Like I know Mario Brothers Super Show is probably the most recognizable. I kind of enjoyed the Mario World cartoon the most.
I think we should
Just
do a commentary of it.
I'm all for it because remember they used to pair it with Captain N.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That was a
You'd get like
solid block of programming right
yeah,
there.
you get a little bit of Captain N, and then after that you'd get Mario World.
I could
But
still
of course,
taste the Captain Crunch.
but it says here Mario World is often considered one of the best games in the series and is cited as one of the greatest video games ever made. It sold more than 20 million copies worldwide, making it the best selling Super Nintendo game. It also led to an animated TV series and a 1995 sequel, Yoshi's Island. This game has been re released on multiple occasions. It has to be one of the most re released games of all time because every time Nintendo comes out with a new console, this is part of like whether it's an online store like with the Switch or the Wii's Virtual Console.
Hmm.
It to me should be one of the first games that's released for it.
And I didn't even know because I hardly ever play two-player on this game. Is I didn't know for All Stars when they did the updated All Stars with the updated Super Mario World, they went back and changed the Luigi sprite to make him look like Luigi, from Super Mario Brothers 2.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because I think in the original game, I think he's just Mario with a green, palette swap.
Yeah, yeah, because I remember playing 2 player sometimes with with one of my cousins, and yeah, Luigi was just a Mario with green attire.
Yeah, so they did make Luigi the classic Luigi look started with Super Mario Brothers 2. So then
Hmm.
I guess then in Super Mario Brothers 3, I think they went back to just the palette swap with Mario. And then I think during for this one when they did the updated version, they changed it back to the Luigi we know up to today.
Hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah. As far as the reception of the game goes, Nintendo has sold 20.61 million copies of the game worldwide. In the US, Super Mario Advance 2 for the Game Boy Advance sold 2.5 million and earned 74 million in revenue by August of 2006. During the period between January 2000 and August 2006, it became the second highest selling portable game in the United States. And of course, the reviews, they are what you would expect. All Game gives it 5 stars. Electronic Gaming Monthly gave it 9 out of 10. Eurogamer 10 out of 10. Game Informer 10 out of 10. Nintendo Life a 10. Kotaku a 10. SNES Force 96%. And it's one of the most highly regarded video games, not just of the Super Nintendo, but in the history of gaming.
And it says here, December 2019 review aggregator Game Rankings ranked it as the 78th highest rated game of all time with an aggregate score of 94%.
I feel like it should be much higher than
I think so too.
78.
Who dinged it? I want to know who this person is that made it drop below a 99.
I have no idea. But like if we're talking about, because this says the 78th highest rated game of all time, I'd want to see the 77 that are above it.
No
Because to
kidding.
me, it's at being generous, the in the top 10 best games of all time. But
Yeah.
I obviously think it's higher than that. But what would you give this game as far as a number score?
I mean, I'm going like Super Mario Brothers 3. It gets a perfect 10.
Yeah, same for me. It's if somebody asks me what is a Mario game like, I'm going to tell them to play Super Mario World.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the first game, but this and Mario 3 as well are perfect Mario games. They
And
are what I think of when I think of like Mario in his heyday.
mhm.
And even if you compare like Mario 64, the Galaxy games, and Odyssey, these games, and I'll say Super Mario World specifically, they're the standard bearer for platforming.
Yeah, I mean, this is Super Mario Brothers 3 set the template for what Mario games were going to be from then on, the side-scrolling Mario games, but this is the pinnacle. Like they started off, like it's almost a perfect game. Like I said, you could release this today and call it like if this game didn't exist and Nintendo put it out exactly the way it is today, it would still sell millions of copies because it looks gorgeous. The graphics don't age on this game. They just I That's another thing. When I was playing this weekend, a lot of times I was just looking at the backgrounds, just looking at stuff I never really noticed before. I'm like, this game is absolutely beautiful. The music is perfect. The controls are perfect. There's nothing you could say about this game that they couldn't put it out today and it wouldn't sell. Like it would still sell a couple million copies if they put it out right now.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. It's one of the most timeless games that have ever been made. And I would say if we were just making a top 5 favorite video games of all time, or favorite slash what I consider to be the best, this would absolutely be on both of those lists.
Oh yeah.
It checks every single Mario box, and it keeps you coming back for more.
Well, like we were talking about last week, if you drop me off on a desert island and tell me that I can only bring 5 games with me, one of the games would definitely be Super Mario All-Stars, because not only do you get the first 3 games, with Super Mario World style graphics, but you also get Super Mario World on there. And I mean, you go back and play those first 3 games with the Super Mario World graphics, and it just makes them even better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
What do
I
you
love
give
this
it?
game so much.
What
Like I can't say enough good about it.
What do you give it? I mean, you got to give it a 10.
Oh, it's a 10 out of
Yeah.
10.
There's
No doubt about that.
nothing bad I can say at all about this game,
Nope.
even though I tried to find something wrong with it. And I can't.
Well, and the fact that this game has been, and I know we're running a bit long, and this will be the last thing that I say about
Yeah.
it. The longevity of this game, like it should tell you how great it is, because it's been re-released, I think, once every decade.
Yeah, at least.
That's saying a lot.
And they wouldn't even need to, if they did a re-release of it. You don't even need to like remaster it or anything. I mean, it's perfect the way it is.
Yeah, I would not change a thing about it.
Yeah, but we finally did it, Derek. We reviewed the 2 games. I can't believe we've never reviewed before.
Yeah, I can't believe we waited this long, but it was worth the wait.
But next week, tell them what we got coming.
So if you like Mario, you can keep tuning in, because as voted by the patrons, I will be reviewing Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga for the Game Boy Advance. One of, I think, still the most underrated Mario games of all time. I can't wait to dive into it. I'm actually going to have time to really dive deep into it. I probably won't be able to beat it, but I can play through it enough, because I haven't played this game since, I don't know, not too long after it came out back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
But these are really fun games. I can't wait to talk about it.
So I'm thinking, well, I did for the week after, I do want to get to do Little Samson, because it was voted on by the patrons. It tied with Super Adventure Island. But I think I might have to find a Mario game to review, just so we can have Mario August. This could be Mario August this year.
Yeah.
So I'll find something.
I love it. Yeah.
But before we leave, Derek, you got to tell us about Real Wisdom.
Yep, Real Wisdom finally launched this past Thursday, so you can check it out on all major podcasting platforms, as well as my YouTube channel. You can head over to linktree.com/realwisdompod. That's REEL Wisdom Pod. I got to chat with Alex Hyde White, who played Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic, in the infamous unreleased Fantastic Four film from the early 90s. And we talk about that, some of his other films he's worked on throughout his career. He's been acting for, I think, 45 years.
Mm-hmm.
So we scratched the surface of some of the stuff that he's done. And I got to work with him on a short film here in Pensacola last year with our mutual friend Steve Wise, called The Walker.
Yeah.
So we talk about that and the Pensacola filmmaking community. So again, linktree.com/realwisdompod, REEL Wisdom Pod.
But for the Open Micers podcast, openmicers.com, at openmicers on Twitter and Instagram. This last week we released 2 episodes for you. We had comedian Patty Dwyer has come back for like our 5th or 6th time, and we did headliners with her, where we go over all the weird headlines of the month. That was a great episode. And we had the Roast in the Coast bonus episode. They're down to the finals on the Roasting the Coast roast battle. That's going to be in the finals this Saturday night. We talked to Crangus Gillespie and Olivia Searcy from Pensacola. She's in the finals. And me and Jacob gave our sports style commentary on who we think are going to win the final bracket. So we'll find out how we did this Saturday. But go check out those 2 episodes, openmicers.com. And is that it? Is that everything?
I think so.
Well, let's out of here. If you want to email us at nerdcaveretro@gmail.com. Nerdcaveretro.com is our link tree. That takes you everywhere you need to go for our socials, our Patreon, and our merch shop, which you can get to at ncrmerch.com. We got t-shirts, hats, stickers, magnets, bags, mugs, whatever your nerdy little heart desires. And also, if you don't have a buck to give us for Patreon, don't have a couple of bucks, you're like, guys, times are tough. I don't have the dollar in my couch to give to you. I already cleaned out the couch, pay for rent. Go leave us a review. That's the best thing to do. Leave us a review and or a 5-star rating on all podcasting platforms. So Derek, please tell them what it's all about.
So go.
Yeah.
Hey, paisanos, it's the Super Mario Brothers Super Show!
And that's an episode.
Every time I hear that clip, that just makes me want to go. Da, 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 da.
Oh, we got a troll in the chat room. We got a retro troll.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you for your review.
Well, thank you for your opinion. You can go place whatever you want to play. I don't have anything to say to you. If you don't like Super Mario World, I'm glad you took time out of your day to tell us that it's trash. So,
again, thank you for your YouTube view.
I don't know. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the view. But thank you guys for watching, and we will see all of